There are so many fascinating aspects of pro wrestling that make it an art form in the truest sense of the word. The WWE has a rabid fan base that consumes hours upon hours of WWE content every week, with massive internet communities dedicated to dissecting every part of a show. When it comes to booking decisions, title changes, WrestleMania moments, and who's being pushed, these aspects only begin to scratch the surface of what goes into making a WWE show. WWE is a massive company that employs people in roles that we may never even have heard of. It isn't easy to fill these positions, as any prospective employees would need to have a unique skill set in addition to having a deep understanding of the business. You can't exactly put out a wanted ad for someone who can put together wrestling shows, scout talent, and mentor younger stars. Due to this, former wrestlers end up being drafted into backstage roles where they can use their understanding of the business and in-ring acumen to mold the next generation of superstars and put together great shows. WWE currently employs a number of former wrestlers. Some of them were even main eventers, while others never ascended to the top of the card, but were regular, dependable fixtures in the WWE mid-card. My name is John, and let's check out 10 former wrestlers you might be surprised to hear still work for the WWE. Ric Flair was definitely the biggest star out of the Four Horsemen, but Arn Anderson was arguably the most valuable member of the faction, as his work elevated the group as a whole and prevented it from seeming like one superstar was teaming with a few mid-carders. Anderson was drafted to the WWE following the death of WCW, and after starting out as an announcer, he soon transitioned into the role of an agent. Since then, Anderson has gone on to become a senior producer in the WWE, often working backstage with the younger talent and helping them hone their craft. Anderson has been with the company in a backstage capacity since 2001, which is a considerably longer tenure than most of his WCW colleagues. Before Joey Mercury was one half of the beloved J&J Security, he was in a pretty successful tag team with John Morrison. His first tenure with the company ended on a sour note, as he had to be released from his WWE contract due to issues with drugs and alcohol. Luckily, he took the time off to clean up his act and returned to the company as one half of Seth Rollins' entourage before eventually slotting into a backstage role as a producer. He also proved his worth to the company as a trainer, as members of the Shield Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins showered Mercury with praise because he helped them improve and evolve as wrestlers. Too often we see talented superstars lose the plot because of substance abuse, but Mercury's story is an inspiring one, as he found his way through the darkness and is still providing his expertise to the WWE on a weekly basis. Much like Joey Mercury, Noble's transition to the WWE backstage was so effective that the WWE decided to reward him by putting him in front of the camera as the other half of J&J Security. Jamie Noble is one of the greatest cruiserweights in WWE history, and the WWE was smart to use his experience in the ring in the role of a producer backstage. An ill-timed injury forced Noble to retire from in-ring competition, but the WWE gave him the chance to keep working in the business he loves so much. You'll be hard-pressed to find anyone who has had a bad thing to say about Noble, because he has been nothing except a consummate professional both as a wrestler and a backstage official. Devon was a part of the most decorated tag teams in history of pro wrestling, having won more than 20 titles over the course of his career. After a brief run alongside Bubba Ray in 2016 that didn't go exactly as planned and the team ended its run after a year, Devon was hired as a backstage producer and agent in WWE. The Dudley Boys went in pretty different directions after finishing up their in-ring runs in WWE. Bubba didn't shy away from saying his tag team partner didn't have much of a personality, to which Devon responded by saying he could have Bubba taken off the stage because he's Office now. Dean Malenko is probably one of the most underrated wrestlers in sports entertainment history, having spent time in New Japan Pro Wrestling, ECW, WCW, and the WWE. Known as the Man of 1,000 Holds, Malenko made an instant impact when he signed for the company. Today, Malenko can be found breaking up fights during backstage segments of WWE shows or sitting around with a bunch of guys in suits. WWE heavily relies on Malenko to guide the company in the right direction using his vast knowledge of the industry and wrestling experience. Truly one of the better wrestlers of his generation, Dean Malenko is an invaluable asset to the WWE. The Irishman who loves to fight was a fixture in WWE programming for years, often involved in a number of mid-card feuds. From being an ever-present figure on SmackDown towards the end of his career, he has now transitioned into one of the most trusted backstage producers in the WWE. His run as a backstage official hasn't been without its fair share of trouble, as he was released from the company for making a poor decision that allowed a wrestler to disrespect the national anthem in order to generate heat. But WWE eventually brought him back from the wilderness, and he's been working his magic backstage ever since. There is probably no other backstage official who appears in nearly as many backstage segments as Finlay does, as he's often seen in the background of WWE productions on the WWE Network. If you're looking for proof about just how active he still is for the WWE, just keep your eye out for him during backstage segments. Odds are you'll see the Irishman who loves to fight. Mike Rotunda's work as IRS in the WWE was one of the cheesiest yet most effective gimmicks that got the man nuclear heat on multiple occasions. Rotunda's career was an undoubted success by the time he hung up his boots, and following his retirement as an in-ring competitor, he left the WWE to run a security company. Rotunda eventually found his way back to the company as WWE hired him to be one of their road agents. Rotunda still shows up on the WWE programming and reprises his old role of IRS on rare occasions, whenever the WWE conjures up a nostalgic comedic spot. The coolest thing about Rotunda's job is that he gets to work with his sons Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt, as the Rotundas remain a wrestling family. This is probably the most unexpected entry to this list. The Boogeyman has taken an unconventional route to his current role in the WWE, to say the least. He first made waves in the world of sports entertainment when he got disqualified from Toughen Up because he lied about his age. He got lucky though, as the WWE signed him to a full-time deal that saw him play one of the creepiest characters in the company's history. The Boogeyman was loved by audiences all over the world, even if he wasn't the best wrestler around. Today, he is WWE's brand ambassador and spends a lot of his time representing WWE at a number of events, making appearances often dressed in his trademark costume. He still makes sporadic appearances on WWE programming to pop the crowd, having seen signed to a Legends contract with WWE, in addition to working part-time as a personal trainer. Not too bad for a guy who entered the ring with worms in his mouth. Not bad at all. Matt Bloom has had quite the tenure with the WWE, having portrayed the characters of Prince Albert, A-Train, and Lord Tensai in WWE programming as an in-ring competitor. When Bill DeMott was released from the WWE due to allegations made about his training methods, Bloom stepped in to take over as the head trainer of WWE's Performance Center. Bloom has had success in the WWE as well as the independent scene, having achieved success in New Japan Pro Wrestling, which made him the ideal successor to DeMott's position. The massive difference in culture and in-ring style would allow Bloom to offer a different perspective to WWE's young crop of budding stars. As the head trainer, he primarily works out of the Performance Center in Florida, but it is not uncommon to see him backstage at NXT tapings, coaching the talent and mentoring the next generation of stars. Bloom's experience portraying multiple characters in the WWE and his first-hand experience with different wrestling styles make him a massive asset to the WWE. Just casting a cursory glance at NXT will show you just how good a job Bloom is doing, as NXT stands toe-to-toe with Raw and SmackDown Live, often surpassing the quality of main roster pay-per-views with fantastic takeover shows the night before. This is the man responsible for WWE's future, and it seems like the company got things right with Bloom. Road Dogg's ascent up the WWE backstage ladder has been astounding. After seemingly burning all bridges with the WWE by trashing WWE in a series of shoot interviews after his release, it seemed highly unlikely the company would want anything to do with the former DX member. But the unexpected happened, as WWE welcomed him back with open arms and made him a trainer. Road Dogg made the most of his opportunity and is now one of the most important figures backstage, probably second only to the McMahons and Triple H. Even if you can't find Road Dogg anywhere in WWE programming, you'll probably find him on Twitter arguing with fans who trash the product he worked so hard to create. And these are 10 former wrestlers you might be surprised to hear still work for WWE. I hope you're all having an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching Wrestling Hub, and as always, I will see you later with more wrestling videos.